Hi YouTube. So you guys are seeing this video. Gadir and I are gonna be sharing my story about my eating disorder, how I overcame—
Trigger warning, trigger warning.
Well, trigger warning in the beginning of the video, but I mean it's titled, the video title is gonna be probably talking about my eating disorder. And I'm gonna be talking about it. So, this is gonna be a recorded podcast episode, but I'm gonna put the full thing on my YouTube, which is what you guys are watching now, unedited, raw and real, for you guys to see. Unless you fuck up. Yeah, unless you're fucked up.
Unless I mess up and say something I'm not supposed to,
Then,
I don't know.
So, just remember to keep the conversation.
Can you just get a little lower?
Hi guys, and welcome back to Midday Matcha with Livy. Clearly, I fucking Livy. You guys, I am here with a lovely guest, one of my best friends, genuinely like a soul sister to me, basically family at this point. Well, family, yeah. Gadir, introduce yourself to Midday Matcha.
Just introduce me.
Oh, well, say more.
Hi, Gadir. And I'm on this week's episode of Midday Matcha with Livy.
Don't you just feel blessed to be on this week's episode?
Absolutely blessed.
Okay.
I've been with Midday Matcha
From the beginning.
from the very beginning.
You do my art.
I do her artwork and shit stuff. Are we allowed to swear?
Have you
here?
listened to the podcast? I literally told my mom to suck a dick in one episode. Like, have you listened?
I listen to the podcasts, but not all of them. Like Olivia said, like I just know everything about her.
I always say my close friends, like the closest people to me, like my mom, my sister, Maisie, my best friend, and then like Gadir. They don't listen because you guys are all like, I already know what it's like. I already know your life, and I don't fucking
And it's
care to
like,
listen to you.
Well, you talk to me about your episode before you record your episode most of the time anyway, so I'm like, yeah. And like the topics you talk about, it's nothing new for me. I've already heard it and helped you deal with it or whatever, but
Gadir's already been.
maybe I'll listen to this one because I'm on the episode, but I didn't even watch the full mukbang. Because I was there.
Gadir's talking about the mukbang that we filmed on my YouTube channel. It's Livy Bitch, no plug, but go check it out. Go subscribe, like, and watch our sushi mukbang. Everybody loved that video.
It was good. I was there.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm bringing on Gadir for a special, specific reason. You guys can probably already tell by the title of this episode, we're going to be talking about eating disorders, society's view of bodies, and like how you should be. You want to make that sound better? I literally sounded like a fucking idiot.
We're just going to talk about eating disorders and body image issues.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to make this episode was because I think one of my most asked questions is, how am I so confident, and how, especially I post my body. I'm not posting like nudes, but like that one bikini
They
picture.
might as well be nudes.
Might as well be my nudes. Swipe up for my OnlyFans. Just kidding. I got denied. We don't need to talk about it. But yeah, and I really want to talk about this because I wish I could say I just woke up and loved myself.
She didn't.
I didn't. I had to go through some really difficult things.
It's been a roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster. So
I feel like it is for most women.
yeah.
People in general. Not even
People
just women,
in general.
men.
We love the women on the podcast though.
Yeah.
But I want to be open and honest with you guys about my eating disorder. And Gadir is obviously here because she has been somebody who impacted me so greatly in such a positive way in my recovery and everything I've dealt with.
I mean, I didn't know she had an eating
We'll get
disorder.
into it,
Okay.
yeah. I didn't know either, but like,
I didn't know.
I didn't know it was an I didn't know it was that bad, and then everyone's like, you need help, and I'm like, whoa, you guys can fuck off. This will be like a little bit of a heavier topic conversation. Obviously, you know me, I'm gonna make it light and funny. Gadir will probably make it light and funny too. I like to joke about my trauma, but trigger warning in the beginning, right before we say anything, that we will be talking about eating disorders. I'm trying not to get super graphic, but it probably, knowing you, it probably will. But
Supposed to be.
what?
What's that supposed to be?
You just like fully go, you're like, bulimia, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, we could just call it the eating disorder, but
No.
there's several different things that play a part. So let's get into it. I want to talk about, oh my God. Are you kidding? Fucking yikes, bruh. Okay. We're gonna talk about the start of my eating disorder. So we're gonna talk about, basically, my eating disorder was developed because my whole life I was just kind of told that I was fat, like by every single person. I was definitely overweight. I wouldn't say I was obese, but every single person, from family members to exes to everybody, like just always called me fat.
I mean, I've been to your family dinners.
It's been a little.
Everyone's just like, you're fat, fatty.
Everyone is always like
Going for a second plate.
Like, oh my God, you're disgusting. But it's like, you can't blame anybody because I guess it's just the society we grew up in, and it just.
And I feel like, for the most part, your family didn't mean. I mean, not all of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, there were some people in your family that were probably like, "No, you're fat."
Yeah. But like,
I think it was just they mean well. And like some of them are joking. It's
Yeah.
just, like, I think it's just the way they are. Like they're just assholes. But like not actually. It's just like sarcastic.
Very no filter. It's like me. Like everybody's like me. We don't really have filters. I would say I'm probably the worst, but we don't have filters. And like, don't get it twisted, I was definitely right there with them, being like, shut up, fatty. Like, it was just a whole thing. But we're gonna get into that.
The first time I went to your family's dinners, I was just like, is this how they talk to each other? And like, you know, my father will be like, stupid, ugly ass, you know? He'll call me that, and I'll be like, well, I look just like you, so if I'm stupid and ugly, you're stupid and ugly.
Right, so you're calling it yourself.
You know?
But yeah, so, but I just, from like a very young age, always, my weight was always talked about as something so negative. So like over time, you could probably see what that does for me. So I want to talk about, because I know exactly when my eating disorder started. My eating disorder started off as a diet, like they all do. I was calorie counting and working out. Like that's what you do when you want to lose weight. Mine quickly shifted into, like, you know, I told my therapist this when I first started like working with her. I was like, you know, like people would call it intermittent fasting, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm intermittent fasting, but like, no, I just wasn't eating for 3 days. Like that wasn't intermittent fasting. That was just fasting, and that's anorexia. That wasn't
starving yourself.
Yeah, I was starving myself. Like, let's just go there. I was starving myself. So quickly, the diet became really terrible, and at this point in my life, I was super negative. I was a very, very negative person, which is even hard for me to like wrap my head around, that I was so toxic to myself. But basically my weight loss became the number one thing to me, and it was going to be the number one thing, the one thing that I focused on, and it was so extremely toxic. So let's get to the middle. I kind of stopped counting calories and just started not eating. Like I just completely stopped eating, and I would just drink coffees. And I developed a complete fear and a calorie counting obsession. And in this point in my life, when things started to get really bad, I was surrounding myself with people that were also doing this for them. So basically everybody that I was close to at that time was super negative to themselves and was normalizing these toxic behaviors. So for me, it was normal to be like, oh my God, I look so fucking fat. Oh my God, even saying that now just like takes a lot out of me, because it's like, wow, the fact that I was like doing it is crazy and disgusting. But the people I was around normalized this so much that it started to get out of hand for me. And the point where I got worse, obviously. So I lost 50 pounds between March and June.
You know, I remember you coming over to your uncle's house one day, and everyone would be like, oh my God, Linda, you look good, you lost weight. You look so skinny. And you're like, yeah, I'm just obsessed with working out. And like,
well, like, was I supposed to walk in and be like, it's anorexia, Aunt Lori, like, woo! The bulimia is kicking in, Aunt Lori, can you tell? Can you imagine? But yeah, I think that was Easter that you probably saw me look like that.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, I lost an absurd amount of weight in such a quick period of time. So I was also so afraid of food that I would get high and just eat everything, like to the point that I couldn't stop eating. Like I would not stop eating. So like to make it fucking worse, let's throw a binge eating disorder in there. Like I would do that so often.
I remember we do that together, but like you would go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I would just sit there and be like, it's not well, it hurts. But like you would just kind of be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I think I did hear you one time.
Probably. I think.
But I didn't know what it was at the time because I remember that day we ate the entire day. It was like breakfast cakes in the morning, sushi, pizza, birthday cake, a bunch of snacks in between. I don't even know. We just didn't stop that day.
Right.
And we were like, oh, I feel sick. And like you turn back.
That sink on, and then
it happened to be. And I was like,
you just don't think anything of it.
Well, like I kind of did. Like it popped in my head. I'm like, because you were hiding it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like I wasn't open and honest.
And that
about
was
that.
weird for me, but like I didn't really think so much into it because like you were really good at putting on that persona. Like, yeah, I'm super confident. Like,
Yeah.
I love myself.
That's something that is so like I don't think I can't actually confidently say I loved myself at that time because I was doing these like terrible things to myself, but I was somehow so confident. I just think that's who I am as a person. Like I'll always project my best self even when I'm not feeling my best, for sure. And for me, like as she's talking about, I was clearly throwing up, like I was clearly bulimic. I would make the excuse like, oh, like you just don't feel well, like you just don't feel well. And like you were one person I noticed, as well as like my best friend noticed, but we'll get into like how everything unraveled and like became. But for me, I was just like, okay, if I'm gonna eat this much food when I'm high or just eating a lot in general, I have to get rid of it somehow. Like I have to do something. And it became so obsessive and so it overtook my life completely that I couldn't even eat a meal if I ate a meal, I would have to go to the bathroom and like, you know, and yeah, I just like played it off like everything was fine, but inside when I tell you I was dying, I was like I was genuinely dead inside. Okay.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's so
I mean, we would like overeat together. Not even overeat, we would just indulge in together in any type of food, and like, you know, we both joke around because like you get bloated after. It's like, I look pregnant. I look so fat. I have a food baby. We used to work together, so we were around each other
every day, all day, every
day.
Might
as well live together, but you know, and like I would say these things too, but like I was joking.
But we're gonna get into when you started realizing, because you actually came in at the time that like saved me. So we'll get into that. This is the peak. This is where it was my worst.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you guys how terrible it was. So obviously I would eat nothing all day. I'd only drink coffee. Like I was genuinely shaking all the time, and like I just wasn't eating. If I ate, I did throw it up. I spent hours in the gym, like hours and hours in the gym. I started to use laxatives and enemas for not like the reasons you'd think. But like I swear to you, I had never thought about a laxative in my life until like a friend of mine brought it up and was using them, and I was like, oh, this is like so normal. Like I should be using these too.
One of her more toxic friendships,
I would say, yeah. And like when you see somebody else doing something and it's so normalized.
It's normal.
Yeah, I was like, this is so completely normal. Like this is fine.
Yeah.
This is okay. You know, like
other people are doing it.
Other people are doing it. Like I'm gonna be doing it. And I was such.
A lot of like mostly women are doing that, but they all think it's normal. We all think it's. I think it's like just now coming out that like no, it's not normal. Like it's more recent information for people to be like, oh no, it's not normal to try to be a fucking size 0 all the time.
It's not.
And like I was a size 0, like double 0, like depending on where I shop, like I might still be in some stores, but like I was always underweight, and I always had people telling me like, well, there was like a mixed reaction. There were girls saying like, I wish my waist was as small as yours. I wish I was as skinny as you. And then there's other people that are like, you look like you're on drugs. Are you doing cocaine? Like I used to be a waitress, so I had like customers, regulars be like, you know, you've lost a lot of weight. Are like you doing coke? Are you on heroin? Like what's going on?
Right.
And I was just like, no, I'm just skinny. And I was skinny, but I think I did not have an eating disorder where I had like emotional issues to where like, you know, you're really depressed, you either like eat your feelings or
don't eat your feelings.
I had no appetite at a lot of points in my life where I was just like, finish a meal, you know, we'll just snack on things. But it was like so weird because I had like half of the people telling me I looked sick, I need to put on weight, and then half people being like, no, I want to be as skinny as you. I looked sick, Jenny.
You did.
I
know. I'm over here like, you did. No, but like,
I did.
I knew her at that time, and to look at her now and to look at her at that time, it was like, you did look sick, but you, like, I mean, like, I always saw you eat a meal, but I feel like that just shows, like, you always saw me eat a meal, but there was so much going on behind the scenes that we both didn't really know, I guess. I feel like other people don't know as well, and that's why I think it's like a big thing to always check in with your friends and family, like make sure that everybody is okay, because you don't know. And if you see somebody who's looking, I mean, I think if you see someone who's looking a little bit like even unwell in the eyes, you know what I mean? I feel like my eyes, like, that's so weird to be like my eyes, but like my eyes, if you look back, you could see my sadness.
I mean, it wasn't even just your eyes, it was like your attitude.
Like everything about me was just miserable. And okay, that brings me to like, I was in such a dark, scary place in my head. I was so, like, I have notes on my phone that are like, when will this end? Like, will I ever live a normal life? And I can remember like, it was also so hard for me, this is so random, but it was so hard for me to date with an eating disorder because like the guys I would talk to, like I had a really close friend who we had like a thing, and we were like on it, like getting close, and he like looked at me and he was like, something's wrong with you. And I was like, whoa, first of all, what do you mean? And he was like, no, like you've lost a lot of weight. Like, what'd you eat today? And I was like, clearly freaking out. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, you're not eating. And I was like, yeah, I told him and I talked a couple months ago, like after like I was in recovery and stuff. He was like, you know, you used to tell me like you gave up eating. He's like, I used to tell him I used to be like, I'm just not eating anymore. Like I gave it up, not for me. And he was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you gave up eating? You can't.
I'm just not gonna eat anymore. Like,
yeah.
Like, are you trying to?
Right. They're like, what do you mean you just gave up eating? And he's like, that's an eating disorder. And I'm like, you're out of line. I'm just not eating. And he was like, what do you mean you're not eating? He's like, yeah, what do you mean you're not eating? But he was somebody that like kept trying to get in. And like we'd go to Walgreens together and he'd be like, you want these chips? And I'd be like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm all good. But he was somebody that like I specifically remember that moment, him looking across from me. We were at a place that we both would go to together, and he looked at me and he was like, you're throwing up a lot, aren't you? And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, the only one, I'm just really sick. And he's like, no, this is a lot worse than like anything. And
I just thought it was exercise. I was like, her mom's a trainer, like her sisters work out.
Right.
You know, that's normal. And that was before I had ever even worked out. Like that was when I was really skinny, when you lost all your weight. And I was like, she just works out a lot, you know, and I didn't even, I didn't know what to speak about her.
But, dating with an eating disorder is not, like I had the one guy who was like also like really close to me as a friend be like, you're completely sick. And almost like, that almost felt like, oh my God, it almost was like a little bad because I was like, somebody notices I'm skinny, because for some reason, I was like, oh my God, you think I'm skinny. But I was like, because like some part of me was like, is anybody noticing? Is anybody like realizing, is anyone validating my own weight loss? And like, that's obviously super toxic. And I would almost fuel off of it a little bit more when people are like, you look so skinny, because then I did, what I'm doing is great. Let me keep this up. Let me keep going with it.
You had like no clue. You thought you were being healthy. Normal.
Yeah.
You thought this was what everyone was doing.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to like your toxic
friendships that I was in at the time. Because like this was, like I wish I could, like this was so normalized with the people I was close with at the time this was complete. I maybe like I wasn't as vocal about me being bulimic, but like they definitely knew that I was throwing up. They knew that I wasn't eating. Like if you spend so much time with somebody, you're aware of their problems, and it was just so normalized.
I don't think I was spending so much time with you at that time. I think it was like we were seeing each other every once in a while, but it wasn't until we started working together, like every day, when I started seeing you more. Right. But I feel like during that time, you not being around those people, like I feel like you were trying to eat normally and stuff, and like, like, you know, you go to the bathroom after.
that brings me back to like when I was distancing myself from people that were like that were toxic at that time.
It was quarantine too. So that kind of forced you.
Yeah. Well, also right before the quarantine, I had a good friend, and she was amazing, and like I think she knew something was up, and she was like, "Listen, like, you need to." Did it really subtly and really beautifully actually, and was like, "You need to eat. Like, let's not like you need to eat." But I think I expressed to her how frustrated I was that I wasn't losing weight, and she was like, "What the fuck?" Because I was a lot smaller than I was, and she's like, "No, the more you eat, the more you'll lose weight." And like just
your metabolism.
Yeah, like eat healthy, like keep eating healthy. So I was like, okay, perfect. Like let me eat healthy. Like let me eat healthy. And that spiraled into like maybe I wasn't throwing up anymore, but eating healthy was like a tomato a day. Like that was the thing. Like that's where it was like give or no, I'm dead serious. It was like give or take, and like bless her heart, she meant the best. She was doing the best for me. But like she also like opened my eyes. But like I was so sick at that time that I couldn't really realize, and like
you didn't see the full picture.
No, and it just like the darkness was so dark to the point where like I was never skinny enough, like at all. I would look at myself in the mirror and I would cry because I would hate how skinny I looked. I would ask everybody how I look. Are you cold?
Yeah, we're soft, but
well, like you just freeze.
Okay. Let's sit here.
I was never I was never skinny enough. I would have panic attacks when I would have to like go to dinners, which is like crazy because like I flipped a 180 and like my favorite thing is to go out to dinner.
But like go out to dinner so much.
I know. All I do is go out to dinner and people are like, how much are you spending? I'm like, too fucking much. But there was a time where like I would have panic attacks going out to dinner. Like my friend would be like, let's get dinner and then go to the club. And I was like, can we just go to the club? Like, why do we need to get dinner? And I remember sitting in the nail salon crying while the guy's doing my acrylic fill because I'm like thinking about that I have a dinner that night. Like I'm freaked out, I'm panicked. I'm terrified that I have to go out to a dinner and eat. I know I'm gonna have to end up in the bathroom. Like I know, like that's just how my brain was at that time. And then I completely like isolated myself. And I was losing my hair. I didn't have a period.
You know, your period was always like, it's like 2 months late. I'm like, are you pregnant? You're like,
I'm like, no, I can't even have sex. I'm not even mentally stable enough to have sex. No, the one kid that I did have sex with during that time, I was like, I feel like the fattest bitch in the game. He looked at me and he was like, I can make you feel like the sexiest bitch in the game. And I was like, ooh, no, I don't think you can, unless you can cure this fucking anorexia, you're not doing anything. No, but I was just like, no. And he was another person that looked at me and was like, Livy, I think somebody in your family might have an eating problem or something, because he was like trying to say like genetics, like that I was like overthinking it, that I was like fat, like he was like genetics, he's like, does someone in your family, or like trying to get it out of me, but like I couldn't even admit it to anybody that I had an eating problem. So many people, I would say, tried to get it out of me, like so many friends, I would say. We'll get into like when it all came out, but also like I couldn't, like I hated them as much as I loved the mirror. I hated the mirror. I almost only posted pictures of myself in the mirror to like have people swipe up to like be like, you're skinny,
give me validation,
that my eating disorder is working. I was truly like hopeless. I couldn't be in a grocery store, so like when I did my grocery shopping, it was,
you never had groceries.
Well, I was anorexic,
I know, bitch. I would show up to her apartment and there'd be like LaCroix.
I only had LaCroix.
LaCroix and like olives or something like that. Like there was nothing in your fridge. And I'm the type like, I need snacks, I need food. So the first thing I do when I come to Livy's apartment, I'm like, what snacks do you have? Do you have some chips or something? Like I need to snack. And every time it was like nothing. And I was like, well, okay, this is sad. I'd be like, not be able to live like this.
You came at the worst time. I was going grocery
shopping this week. Oh my god.
I would wake up in the middle of the night with piercing stomach aches. I'm honest to God. I don't want to be like I'm lucky to be alive, but I'm lucky to be healthy because the damage I did to my body with like drinking laxatives almost daily, not eating and throwing it up. Like I'm so lucky that I'm fine because like the stuff I was doing to my body is so terrible. And then the body dysmorphia, like I just had extreme body dysmorphia. I think like I'm still gonna have body dysmorphia, but we're gonna get into the happy parts of this, guys, because like it fucking is recovery. Could you imagine like I still had it and I'm like, hey, I'm just updating you. Yeah, I'm doing that eating. So you are my biggest turning point. You're the person, so we were quarantined together and I saw you made eating and working out such a positive thing.
I eat for pleasure, not for survival. I mean, for survival too, but I eat for pleasure.
Yeah, you eat, and you just made like, we were doing our workouts together, we were doing everything.
Yeah, and I was never the type of person, well, I've never in my life ever wanted to lose weight. I've always wanted to gain weight.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I was always underweight, and people actually did think I was anorexic. I remember one time in high school, a girl came up to me and was like, so there's a rumor going around that you are anorexic. And I was like, I'm eating lunch with you right now.
Right. Like, what do you mean?
Like I was really skinny. And
Yeah.
I went through like, it was like winter break, you know, you get the wintertime depression, plus like my teenage hormones. I don't know what broke my heart at the time, but I didn't eat like all of winter break. I probably had like 4 bowls of cereal the whole time, like, and maybe like some snacks here and there. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like I wasn't like trying to be skinny. I was just like depressed.
And
that like messed me up for a while. Like I was just so skinny for the longest time. And I mean, even my mom was even saying like as a kid I gave the hardest time with food. Like I wouldn't eat. And I'd be like, I'm Middle Eastern, so like it'd be all Middle Eastern food. I just wanted chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. And I was like, Mom, if you would have just gave me chicken nuggets every day or something, I would have been fine. But
Right.
she's big health freak. She's like, no, you had to eat healthy. You had to.
which is great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So you
working
also had
out
a, oh my God, you had an amazing weight gain journey though. Sorry,
I did. I was like 100. I would fluctuate between like 101, 102 to like 105 was like, oh my God. If I reached 106 pounds, I was like, I'm gaining weight.
Oh my God.
And I like way underweight. I'm 5'4", 5'5", something like that. I should have been at least 115. I started working out a year ago, like a year and a month ago, and I was like 102 pounds at the time, and I gained 25 pounds. 25 pounds.
Which was because I remember seeing you last year this time, you look great. Like you were putting on muscle like no other.
Yes.
And I think you were just also becoming such a more positive person as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
when we met, like when March hit and we were around each other all the time, like you were in love with, I don't want to like speak for you, but like working out was everything to you.
Yeah,
And-
and quarantine hit, my gym closed, and I was like,
Right.
what do I do?
And like you had just made, for me, like seeing you and being with you every day made me like, I was like, wait, there's hope. Like I feel like I can normally, because you normalized eating healthy and working out, which is something so normalized. So at that point I was distancing myself from the people that were a little bit more toxic for me when I was at the peak of my eating
And
disorder.
I think you were working out and eating for the wrong reason. Like your whole idea of working out was for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I was doing it like I did want to gain weight. It was about weight, but then after a while, I honestly stopped looking at the scale because I was like, that number, I just don't care about it anymore because I'm happy with my body. I'm healthy. That was the most important thing for me, to be healthy. Like I had more energy. I was mentally healthy. I was working out for my mental health and my physical health, not even like, it stopped being about like the way I look. It was just like, I want to live a long, healthy life.
And that's what you expressing that to me made it such a positive thing for me, because like then working out became, because like it was
That
always,
was before I even knew anything.
Yeah,
about eating
she knew
disorder.
nothing.
I just was there.
you were just there and just being you.
My shining personality.
You were, you're just being yourself. And like you taught me how important it was. You really emphasized how important it was for me to eat, especially after the workout. You'd be like, well, you need a protein shake, you need something, you need to gain some muscle.
I think like you had just bought protein.
Yeah.
During quarantine, you're like, yeah, I just got this protein. I'm trying out these proteins.
Right.
And I was like, you work out all the time. How do you not have protein?
And I was
Your
always-
muscles need to recover.
I remember what it was. I was always complaining to you. I was like, I have no ass and I have no boobs because I was genuinely a weird looking board because like when you lose, I lost muscle, I lost everything.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I don't want to be like I was concerned, but like I just had no boobs and I had no butt. I had literally nothing, and I remember being like, how did you get, because your ass is amazing. Like, Gadira is the best ass. So how'd you get this ass? And you looked at me and you're like, you need to eat. Like, eating is everything.
That's literally what it was. I would work out and then I would just right away eat 2 meals. Like one time Chick-fil-A made a mistake and gave me the wrong cheese on my sandwich. They like walked up to me with another sandwich. They're like, you can keep them both. And I was like, oh my God, I ate both sandwiches and
Right.
fries and my drink. And I had a couple of their chocolate chip cookies after. And I would like still be hungry, but that's because like that's what working out does. for you.
Right.
I can't even imagine what it was like for you to work out and not
I
eat
was
after.
starving. I was starving.
No, and she was a nut job too.
Yeah, I was. Very crazy.
But she would like get angry so fast, and it was a hangriness.
Yeah.
You were hangry.
I was just hungry.
So like just the fact that you did that, you would work out, and we did intense workouts. I know you did intense workouts, like,
Mhm.
and not eat after. I would eat at the gym. I'm not kidding. The people at my old gym would like know me as a girl with like a bag of pistachios in her hand while she works out, or like some like Belvita
Right.
biscuits or whatever. I had like a pocket for snacks and shit.
Yeah.
I was always eating.
And I remember I got in your car one day and I was like, you had like a box of things of donuts.
Donuts and granola.
I was like, what's this? And you were like, well, I get hungry on the road. And I was like,
I don't
what?
even drive far. Like the farthest I drive is like 35
Right. It's like,
Sometimes I just need to eat.
but like for me, seeing that, it was like, oh my God, she eats when she's hungry.
I remember you thought it was so weird. You're like, so you just eat?
I was like, you're like, yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I eat when I'm hungry. I was like, it was such a new concept for me. I was like, Gadira eats. I was
It's
like,
like a caveman discovering fire.
I was like, you eat? You eat.
Yes,
You-
I take the food and I put it in my mouth.
I'm like, show
and
me
it
again.
makes me
Show me again. And you keep it down, huh?
I don't throw it up.
I'm like, no.
It just comes out the other end normally, digestion.
I'm like, you're lying.
I
It's
don't take laxatives.
not even one. Not even one.
Never in my life have I taken a laxative.
And I'm like, whoa, this is something different. Like, she's different. But I was like, so just like, oh my God. As crazy as it sounds, you're like libby or traumatic.
No, it wasn't.
when you're in such a toxic mindset and you're dealing with a really severe eating disorder and you see someone who is normal and healthy eating and looking at you like, what the fuck are you not eating for? You're just like, wait, people eat. Like, this is normal, this is okay. It's like, who you surround yourself with is so important and it means everything. It's literally pitch black in here. Hold on.
I know.
So you were saying,
I'm saying that when you told me about your eating disorder, I didn't comprehend. That's like blind.
you got it, Casey.
I didn't comprehend how serious it was. I had never. I just didn't comprehend like how serious it was. I was like, okay, like she has like a little bit of issues, but then like we got like more into it. And then when you told me that I was the one that helped you, I was like really surprised. I was like, I didn't even fucking do anything. I'm just here. I actually bullied you a lot, not about your weight.
Not about my weight. We're never like, God,
I'm not even that nice of a person. Like, I'm a really nice person,
Yeah.
but I'm very sarcastic.
We're very sarcastic with each other, like very, but just seeing you eat healthy and eat a lot, like a large amount of food, and like you were so positive about food and everything you ate was so amazing and you loved everything and you're like, oh my God, I could have 12 of those. And like,
And I would have.
yeah, and like if there was more, she'd eat more, like, and it's like to see somebody so happy with themselves and so happy with their weight, like to somebody who was so miserable and hungry, like you changed everything for me. Like that's even before I admitted there was a problem. Being around you, I was eating more, I was loving, I was becoming happy.
You were, and I feel like you were a lot happier during that time. Like it was me and you, we didn't hang out with anyone else. Like,
Yeah.
like it was quarantine.
We were
We
together.
quarantined together. You were just happier, you were more positive, you just kind of, you were more free. I feel like you let go of a lot of that toxic energy around you because you weren't around it. And I just felt like you were being yourself. Little did I know you were kind of like...
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into right now.
Yeah.
But that was, I want to mention, because this is a big thing, was during quarantine was the beginning of Midday Matcha as well. So you guys are listening to right now. So that was also to even get away from toxic energy and toxic mindsets. Yeah, to be able to work on this, it was huge.
I remember it was like such a big thing. You were just like, you went for it.
I really did. I just
and I feel like if you were around those people, you probably would have been still like partying or doing the meaningless things that they do. And I'm not that person. Like, I don't really party. I don't go out. Like, I'm very like kind of a homebody, but I'd rather just do chill dates. Like, I'd rather hang out and do something productive. Like, we worked on Midday Matcha together. I did help you with that. I'd rather work. I would rather... I sound so fucking boring.
No, but like, that's how I am too. But it took... And no disrespect to anybody or anyone that I was around at that time that was into those things. Because like, they're young. Everyone's young. We're young.
Yeah.
But like, we just have...
It doesn't work for everyone, and I feel like it doesn't work for me. It wasn't working for you.
It was not working for me, and it doesn't work for me now.
Yeah, I love having a jolly sober time.
Right, like isn't it weird? Like I'm just not
have fun being sober. I really do.
And then I gotta focus on Midday Matcha, and I gotta focus. Like we came up with the name together. We came up with like
the cover.
We did it together. We did all of it from the first episode that I thought I was gonna release to like the one that I
actually released thing.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to like the... I know I said I don't listen to the podcast very often, but in the beginning I had to, and I don't want to say it was micromanaging.
No, you were.
Because I have a background in like the arts, like you know, and all that, and I was like, no, you need to do this to make it sound more professional. You need to do this. I'm very like detailed, like no, it has to be perfect. So I feel like it was fun to work on that. You know, we did argue sometimes.
Yeah. But like we both had, I think it was beautiful.
The best intention.
Yeah, and we both had a vision for it, and I think it came to be exactly what it is. Like Midday Matcha wouldn't be Midday Matcha if it wasn't for you. Like, oh my God.
Your mother told me that when she was drunk.
Oh, really? When did she say that?
At Grandma's memorial.
Oh, did she? Oh, she just randomly gave you all the credit for Midday Matcha.
I was like, okay, bye, Dina, I love you. She goes, I love you so much. And I just want you to know, Midday Matcha would not have happened without you.
Well, like, in so many ways too, because not even just like the art and like the stuff that we worked on together, but also like the eating healthy. Like,
if I wasn't in your life,
that I would have still been.
And Livy, during that time, I remember you were like, oh my God, did you even realize that we would be like this? That like, we would see each other this much, we'd be this, like, this big in each other's lives, this involved, and I was like, no, I'm like kind of like, I'm not like super sentimental, I'm like not super emotional, like when I hug the log as a child.
Yeah, you have some definite problems.
I have issues. So like to me it was like, like okay, but like little did I know the impact
that you were really making.
That I was making on you.
Yeah, okay, let's get into, this is when I had to admit there was a problem. So my best friend was home because of quarantine, and we were in the car one night. We were just driving, and she like pulled over and was like, yeah, all these things are great for you. And mind you, I just released Midday Matcha, so I was like on cloud nine. I was really happy. She like looked at me and she was like, I think we need to be a little bit honest right now. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I think you have to realize that we all know you have an eating disorder. And I was like, what do you mean eating disorder? And she was like, you'd go to the bathroom, say it was a stomach ache, and you'd throw up, or you'd get high and you couldn't stop eating, or you just weren't eating. And I only visited her for a week. She only saw me like that for a week and was like, you're not okay.
Props to her for noticing. I feel like I was like in my own issue.
But I was also doing better by the time you had been in my life.
I wasn't really there when it was bad.
Yeah, no. And she was like, and I think, yeah, you're doing better, but like, you have to realize that this was really big and this is really an issue, and you need to admit that there was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on out, I was like, oh my God, everyone knows that I have an eating disorder, but I didn't know. As crazy as that sounds, you never look in the mirror and you're like, I have bulimia. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, I'm doing this.
Bulimic?
Yeah, and I'm a you bulimic fucking whore. No, but it's like, I'm just doing this one last time. Like, I'm not gonna do it again. And then, like, I did it for years, you know? Like, it wasn't, yeah. And so then I had to admit, and then I was like, well, May, where do I start? Like, what do I do? I admit to every single person in my life that I had an eating disorder.
I remember, so Livy and I would always get dinner for ourselves on Sundays. We would treat ourselves. At first it was like, takeout because quarantine, everything was closed. Like,
yeah.
You get like Shake Shack or something.
Right.
And one week I would pay and one week she would pay. And I was like, was this bitch throwing up on the dinners I would buy her? What the fuck?
Oh my God. You and my mother. Like, my mother was like, so where's the grocery money going? And I'm like, Mom, I like
my savings account.
No, actually, because I'm like, relax, my stocks are booming because of you. No, but I was like, everybody I told, like, it's so funny because it's like, you think that they're gonna be like, oh my God. Well, my mom was like that a little bit. And then she was like, but what about the grocery money? And then you were like, what about the food? But not to clarify,
I'm like,
you
that was
know,
some good fucking food.
I
would have eaten there if you were just gonna throw it out.
No.
I would have taken it home.
I was better at that point a little bit. I was getting better
I
because
was
of
like,
you. So
I'm not paying for dinner anymore.
right, you're so fucking rude. And like, I even remember my sister. She was like, really? Okay, that's not like mom's grocery money. And I'm like, oh my God,
That mom's grocery money could have been coming to me.
Right, everyone is just like, you think that they're gonna be like, because I hate when people treat me like I have something wrong with me.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Not good at that. So like, to have everyone's reaction like that, even my best friend, she was like, yeah, there's a problem, let's get some help. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so for everybody to be
Definitely, like, the people in your life, including me, especially me, I feel like I don't coddle people.
No.
I'm not that type of, I was never coddled.
no.
I would cry as a kid and they'd be like, suck it up.
Right. And like, I don't work well with people that are like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. They were like, okay. So then but then like admitting I had an eating disorder was like extreme. I didn't know what was gonna come from that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be in recovery. Or like not even happy about it, but I was like, that sounds so stupid to be like I'm in recovery. But I then felt completely dead, numb and dead inside because I was losing a huge part of myself. As crazy as that sounds, I was completely...
You didn't want to let go of that bulimic bitch inside.
Right, I was like, she's like keeping me sane. No, but like, which is kidding. But like, that was my comfort. That was like something like I had control of. I had control over my weight. I had control over this. And to get better, I had to release full control was like, what the fuck? And then I'm also like, what the fuck? I have an eating disorder. Because like, mind you, I didn't think I had one. I was like, no, this is just, I'm just doing this diet thing. And it was like, no, it was severe problem. So like, it was right after Midday Match's release. And I remember like how I felt inside. I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this podcast. Like I was like so heartbroken and just dead in my own side, like in my own self and like whatever, like with myself. And I was like, how do I keep like going? Like how do you keep going when you feel this low and you feel so terrible?
Just fucking get up and do it.
Yeah.
It's hard because like I've been there. I've hit rock bottom and I didn't get out of bed for like months.
Mm-hmm.
Lied to everyone, said I was working, but then lied to my job and said I'm injured. I don't know what the fuck.
Right.
Like I literally wasn't there for like 2 months.
Yeah.
But then I got out of bed and I worked out. And then history from there.
And that's, I remember that's where I was at. I was like, Libby, you've been through some serious shit. And I was like,
yes.
Yeah.
I really have.
I know, it's kind of fucked.
It was fucked up.
It's really fucked. But I was just like, you just made something so beautiful. Midday Match, hey, and like you have so many people that believe in you, and like more than anything, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, but it's always going to get better. So then we're gonna dive into how I got better. So my biggest thing was I didn't know how to eat. Like I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know it was normal. I was so confused. I was so scared of the whole thing. So I'm like, what do I do? You're like, just put it in your mouth, bitch. Just shut the fuck up
and keep it there.
But I was so used to being like okay with being hungry for like weeks at a time that like you don't think about, you know? So I had to hire a nutritionist, and like she was amazing. She was great. But what she did for me was she made sure I was eating. So like she completely had to reconstruct my brain, like bless her soul, because like people literally thought I was in a relationship because I was texting her all day, every day, but like that was her job with me. It's like she had to text me all day, every day to see what I was eating, and then we had to go over it on the phone, and like to eat again and to keep everything down again was so scary at first, and it was so hard, and I was like always crying, but I was like fucking crying while eating and then after, like you feel good, and it's like I work out, but like I had
started being healthy and having like that energy again.
Right, and just
love food.
Exactly. Like I'm at this point now, like if I don't have food, I'm actually like a raging. We'll get into like how happy I am about food, but like I worked with her so much and like so detailed and stuff to the point like every day, all day, and then we'd have hours long phone call on Saturdays and like talk about moving forward, how I felt. Like this woman knew everything about me to the point where I'd be like, I ate Chipotle with my sister tonight, and I honest to God almost started crying, and I literally kind of wanted to like throw up. Like you have to be, that's my thing, is you have to be that honest with people. Yeah. You have to be like, all my close friends and family that knew about my eating disorder, like especially you, if I relapse and I go back, I'm going to tell you. I'm not gonna hide this from anybody. I'm tired of hiding this. I'm tired of this being a secret. I'm so tired of it. It's open. All of us know we're all in this together. Fucking High School Musical. But it's, we're all in this together. So then even I got into extreme therapy to the point of like I had to confront the problem, working through the problem.
I'm very serious about your therapy.
Yeah, extremely serious.
It's Friday, I have therapy in 20 minutes, I need to go.
Right, it was like a whole, I had to say, so like it became like, even just talking about it and like making it not feel as heavy as it was in my head is something I really had to do. And then I had to say daily food affirmations. Like I still sometimes say daily food affirmations.
I'm thankful for these little chocolate chip cookies.
I know, they're actually fire.
They were even though you burnt them.
Also, Barry's boot camp, I talked to you guys about this so much. I was now working out for my mental health. It wasn't about calories, it wasn't about anything. This was just for me to like clear my head. Like
you were looking great. Like I remember talking about, yeah, you are.
Oh,
I don't know, you've been wearing a lot of sweaters lately in wintertime. But I remember like your arms, the definition, and I was like, damn, like your arms look so good.
Right.
And I'm like big on like, I like muscle. Like obviously I don't want to be like a bodybuilder, but I like the definition. I like seeing the progress. I like seeing the muscles grow.
Yeah.
And like your obliques and stuff. And I was just like, you look good, bitch.
And that's like,
told you, protein.
No, I know. I'm like, oh my God. And even having like people like Gadir in my head, like, and I even accepting that I was gonna gain weight and like I was gonna gain muscle, and like it's okay. It can also be so beautiful.
The number on the scale
does not
it
matter.
doesn't matter at all.
No.
And like I tell people that like obviously like there's been a lot of progress in my body, but not everyone has the same goals as me. And people are like, I want to work out, but like, or I've been working out and I've been doing weightlifting, cardio, blah blah blah, but like it only says I've lost this many pounds. And like, muscle weighs more than fat.
Exactly.
So you could be losing like 30 pounds in body fat, but you gained 15 pounds in muscle.
Right.
So like
the scale is throw away the
and I was really big on the scale at first. When I first started working out, I was like, want to gain weight, because the trainer that the person that sold me like my training package at my gym was like, so what's your goal? I'm like, I want to gain weight. And he goes, well, I think 130 should be fine. And I was like, me at 100 pounds.
Right.
I was like, 130 pounds? I'm gonna be huge. He's like, no, the muscle, like
and surrounding your, and like that's a big thing I want to touch on now actually, is like it doesn't matter what you look like, and like what it just matters if you're feeling strong and you're feeling healthy. Like I think we put so much emphasis on what we look like, and it's not important. Like how do you look on the inside? You know what I mean? Like how is your soul? How are you to other people? And like I'm definitely like I'm bigger than, I definitely gained weight. I'm aware and I'm fine with it.
You look fucking great though.
Thank you. But I'm like, I'm fine with it because of the simple fact, one, I've done extreme therapy. No, but like also because I'm happy. And like that's the biggest thing, is like you could have saw me at the time and you're like, oh my god, she's so skinny, she looks great. I was fucking miserable. Like right now, I'm truly like 100% the happiest I've ever been. And that means more to me than anything. And like overcoming this and getting through this meant more to me. It's like, we don't need to fixate on what clothes we're wearing, like how they fit, like the number on the scale, any of that stuff. Like if you're not working out because it just makes you happy, then you're working out for the wrong reasons, honestly. Like you gotta find joy in it. And I understand we have weight loss journeys, all of that, but let it bring you joy, you know? Like I was doing it more like it was my fucking job. Like you could have paid me for that shit. But yeah, so Barry's Bootcamp like is still my number one thing. I just get to release everything mentally. And like I kind of like take out my anger in there because I had to go through like the grief process with this eating disorder, like anger, denial, all of it, sadness, everything. Like I feel really bad at like what I did to myself. I feel as weird as that sounds, like I feel like how I treat myself now is like an angel, like a goddess, like I am my own queen. And before I was so toxic to myself that it breaks my heart. So I had to like get through that. As well as I had to stop drinking for a while. This is like was a personal thing for me, going back to my recovery and how I like got to where I am now is like throwing up used to excite me. God forbid I drank too much to the point that I'd have to, like I would throw up because of drinking. I just like, oh, yay. I know, woo! No, but like I would, so now I had to stop drinking and like it caused, I was turning 21, you know, like how do you.
And for a while you were like, I feel like I'm not young, I'm not my age, everyone my age is doing something different, like I don't know how to have fun like people my age. I'm like, well, you're not like people your age.
Right.
I'm a little bit older than you, I'm almost 25.
But you don't even feel like you're 25.
I feel like I'm like 40.
I feel like I'm fucking 40 at this point.
But I remember you had a huge issue with not being able to like relate to the people your age and like a lot like everyone my age is going out clubbing and partying and I'm not, and like I don't think you actually really wanted to.
I didn't.
Think you just had a little bit of FOMO.
Yeah, I think there's some FOMO there.
But like you just like didn't feel normal, and I was just like, I mean, you don't have to do what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I truly believe in like work hard now, play hard later.
Yeah.
You know, you have your whole life to like do whatever the fuck you want.
And that's
whatever makes you happy. But now, I'm not saying like don't have fun. It's just like you want to work on yourself now while you're young before it's too late.
Right.
Before you get fucking old and the life just gets sucked.
And I think, I think if I was to go out and like, because everyone wanted me to, and like obviously this caused a lot of problems with friends, quotations, because of the fact like if your friends can't accept the fact that you're not want to drink or something like that, then you don't need them in your life.
I got friends to be like, do you even leave your house? Like, yeah, I leave my house just
right.
Like,
I just have
not to go to the club.
Oh my god, I'm just working on this really hard brand and business for myself. It's just really intense, takes up all my energy. But yeah, like because I was such a party girl, to like completely stop doing that and like pull back 100% and focus on me and stuff. But I knew I wanted to get better, and I knew I was putting thousands of dollars into my recovery, and I was putting so much time, and I was wanting to become the best version of myself for myself because I deserved that I was going to have to make huge sacrifices, and that did mean friendships. Again, that did mean cutting off toxic people and things to me that were not benefiting my recovery. So I couldn't be around people who talked negatively about themselves. I couldn't hear about people's bodies. Like I was very, very, very strict on every single person in my life at the time. Like if you're going to talk about your body, I cannot be here to listen to it, because the last thing I will ever do is put myself back in that mindset. And I think I just have cut out anybody that will talk negatively about themselves. I only surround myself with people that love themselves and their bodies.
It's like me staring at myself in the
right.
ass. Staring myself in the mirror at my ass.
Yeah.
Not even myself, just my ass.
Mm-hmm.
For like,
and like the deer, like just people who are like so okay with like loving themselves. Like I feel like we live in a society where it's so emphasized to not really like your goal should be to be this weight, your goal should be this, like maybe like lose weight. It's like I don't care. Like you've always told me, like
everyone's different. I've always told you everyone's body is different.
Yeah.
Because like some people like you just have a different bone structure.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe your bones are bigger, I don't know, wider.
Right.
It's just your bone structure is different. So no matter how many times you throw up, no matter how much you fucking starve yourself, you're not gonna be like as skinny as you think you need to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like your body type. Everyone's different.
Right. And you also healthy, being healthy. Like it's so
Being
much more
healthy is so
important
much
to
more
be
important.
healthy.
It makes such a difference. Like
And by healthy, you mean like mentally healthy and like,
mentally and just eating healthy, just
yeah.
to feel healthy. I used to eat like shit all the time. Like
mm-hmm.
I'm a huge sweet tooth. Like I even sometimes to this day, like I'll have M&Ms for breakfast.
Which is okay. Like that's my
It's
biggest
okay,
thing.
and
is
it's not
that I
even like
realized-
it's just like the only part I feel guilty about. I was like, well, how am I gonna feel the rest of the day?
Right.
Like, what's this gonna do to my body? Not physically, but like yeah, kind of physically. Like, am I gonna even be able to be productive today?
Yeah.
Eating healthy makes such a fucking difference. And
It
like,
does.
My mental health, first of all, it really fucking helps. Like,
Yeah.
if you eat McDonald's every day, I felt like shit after
You're gonna feel
I
like
went
McDonald's
like
every
all
day.
of quarantine, like we ate like organic food.
Yeah.
It was all organic. It was all super healthy. We would like have sugar, but like not that often.
Oh my god, do you literally remember I made brownies with cookie dough on top?
And we ate the whole pan.
It was so
The
good.
entire thing.
Looking back, I'm not a
We would
this.
eat straight cookies. I
We
miss
did.
those too.
Well, us like we eat so healthy, but
Yeah.
obviously we're human. Like we
yeah,
humans,
no,
we
do not. If you want something,
eat it.
eat it in
Yeah.
moderation.
Then that's
you know?
what being healthy is. Like
Yeah.
if you want it, don't limit yourself, don't restrict yourself. Like that is super toxic. I remember telling my nutritionist, I was like, well, I think I like did something with conservatory, and I was like, so I'm treating myself to a cupcake, and she was like, never treat yourself to food because you can eat food whenever you want. Like you don't have to do something to like eat a cupcake. Like eat the fucking cupcake if you want a cupcake, and that's like something that I still like live by to this day. If I want it, I'm gonna eat it, and like that's
Yeah.
my biggest thing. So okay, let's get into how I stay healthy now and how I stay on recovery. That's a big thing for me. Okay, berries, boot camp again. Like just my workouts mean so much to me because I get to like release just like everything mentally. Like, I tell everybody I'd be a raging cunt if I didn't have those workouts.
For me,
Yeah.
kickboxing,
You do that like intensely.
I do. I'm surprisingly really good.
It's impressive. We're all impressed.
Really strong.
Mindy was just like, what a bitch.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm
but
a small girl, but like I can kick
yeah,
really hard.
but like working out, I think for the both of us is like probably one of the biggest things of our lives.
It was a game changer for both of us.
Yeah.
It was the turning point for me in my life.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be where I'm at today if I didn't like go to the gym that day. Honestly, this day I started working out, I went to the gym to use their showers or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
I wasn't even going to work out.
Yeah.
And someone came up to me, he was like the fitness manager there, and was like, I never see you here. I had my membership for over a year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good with faces, never fucking seen you here. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, what are you working on today? I was like, legs. And he was like, okay, we'll do it together. I was like, fuck, I didn't even want to really work out.
Yeah.
This guy's just trying to sell me training.
Right.
He trained me that day. I was fucking dying. I wanted to throw up.
Right.
Didn't tell him that because I wanted to be like, cool. Like,
I'm all strong.
strong, you know, it's my pride issues.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like you're gonna try and fucking sell me training now, like that's bullshit. I'm gonna say no. And I was like in my head the whole time in training, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking buy this training. But then he somehow convinced me.
Yeah.
don't remember what he
And
said.
that like changed your life forever.
Everything. I was like,
Everything.
all right, if I'm spending this much money on training, I'm showing up to the gym every day, and I did. And it was the one thing that got me out of bed during the time where I would lay in bed all day and just watch Netflix, but not even watch the Netflix. I would just like be numb. Like
Yeah.
I was dead.
Just in pain.
Inside.
Pain
Yes.
inside, dead inside.
Yes.
That's where I was at when I was like dead inside completely, and I was like, okay, like work isn't enough to get me out of bed, and like when
I
I
didn't even go.
what job? I didn't try. I'm like, I need to do it. No, but then I was like, I start my morning off with berries, and I'm just a better person after it.
Yeah.
I went from like, and this is sponsored by. Could you imagine?
This is sponsored
No.
by Berries in
Boot
Chicago.
camp. It's not. It's not. I literally wish it was, but just to get up and start my morning with a workout and clear my head. For like the rest of the day, I just felt and like it just gives me energy.
It's good to sweat.
It has nothing to do for me. Working out has absolutely nothing to do with how I look. Like I love the results it gives me, but it's not like, oh, I have to hit this goal weight.
Yeah.
Like it's none of that anymore. It's just this brings me happiness.
Yeah, and I feel like like during this time, you know, wintertime, everyone gets a little depressed. And
Yeah.
I bet it's so fucking dark and cold outside. And like I've gotten to the point where like I'm happy with my body. I'm 100% content with my body.
Yeah.
And my trainers are like, why aren't you showing up to the gym 8 days a week
Yeah.
like you used to? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm tired.
I'm
And
tired.
they're like, you know what? You get a little bit of abs. You know, you get chiseled arms. And
Right.
you just don't want to show up anymore. I was like, I think so.
You're like, it's just not about the body anymore.
It's not about my
It's
body
cold.
anymore. Like I'm cold. I
Right.
want to sleep.
And then, but those days where I like skip the workout, I'm like, oh shit.
I used to be really hard on myself about it, but now I'm just like, you've worked hard. You deserve a break.
Right.
I don't ever want it to feel like a chore.
And when it does is when I
Workout.
take the break.
Yeah, so that's when you need to take a break. Honestly, I feel like I need to take like a month-long break and lose all my progress or something, and then be like, get my motivation.
Is that what's gonna motivate you?
I don't know.
Just
Maybe
because
I should
sometimes
try
I get
it.
tired,
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm not.
No,
gonna
the
do that.
pre-workout for me is crack.
Yeah,
It's crack.
yeah.
And I get,
You
okay.
know, I don't always take pre-workout. I think the
I-
best pre-workout is like a banana.
No, like to me, I'm the complete opposite. I have to drink my pre-workout in the mornings, and like I run and I'm like walking to Barry's like with like I'm like doing my affirmations. I'm like, let's go! I can't wait. This is gonna be an amazing. I yell at myself on the treadmill. I'm like, let's go, bitch! Sprinting at an 11. Like, let's go! Like I just love. I can't even express to you how much I love working out and like Barry's just for like the mental release of it. Like I leave the class, or I think every
I
day.
feel like you should just have them listen.
I
to
God, I need to. Honest to God,
They
need
really
to.
don't need your sponsor.
They don't. They're like, please, anything, stop. But like for me, it was just such a good happy pill, I guess. Does that sound weird? Like no, but like it was just like it's happiness to me that, and I'm so lucky to be able to start my day with a workout class. In general, it would just be a workout, but for me, Barry's is addicting. And okay, another thing, I do daily affirmations. I talk about this a lot, but especially before and after I eat. So I'm like, during the day, like especially in my therapy, it was very much known that I had to say daily affirmations to retrain my brain completely. So I would be like, okay, I have them in my phone and they'll pop up on my screen and I'll say them every time I get them, and I'll say them before or after meals, or if I feel like I really need it. They're like, calories are energy my body needs to be able to function, as well as I want my body, I want to have curves, I want to have boobs, I want to be able to look like a woman, because like that was something for me that was really hard, was like I didn't.
Yeah, you had no ass.
Yeah, I had no ass.
No tits.
None of it.
And
None of it, Kadirga.
you were just there.
I was there.
No, I mean there was nothing like wrong with the way you looked. It was just not healthy.
It was just.
You weren't. No, there was something. You
was-
weren't fucking healthy.
Yeah, and you're like, no, and so I say daily affirmations, and like, as well as like, I have to remind myself when I eat meals that might not be like the healthiest in quotations, because healthy is what we make it, that it's okay. I deserve this. I'm gonna feel good eating this. I'm gonna feel good after I eat this.
Mhm.
I don't have, like, I'm eating. Like, it's a
me
beautiful
getting my
thing.
McDonald's after like 2 workout classes in a row. I'm like, I'm just gonna.
You're like, I guess, and I think it's like for me, it was really hard to like get back to eating again, but like now it's like with these affirmations, when I tell you they completely changed my brain, like they completely changed my brain. So now I'm like, oh my God, I'm able to eat. Like these things are like, when you feel the guilt, because for me, I would obviously feel immense guilt. That's why I would, after I ate. Now it's like when I feel that guilt, to replace it with an affirmation of, eating is good for me. Calories are energy my body needs. Like this meal is fueling me. This meal is giving me the carbs that I want.
Yeah.
Like it changes you completely. Like you become what you think. So also another thing, like I manifest, I meditate, and I heal with crystal, sage, and journaling. You're like, what the fuck? But like that is how dedicated I am to staying healthy and just being the best version of myself. Like I have healing crystals. I meditate and manifest on things that I want in my life and I would bring into my life, and I meditate to stay calm and centered and like really be mindful of my body. Like I mindfully eat too, where I'm just like aware that I'm eating and it's good, and it's just so beautiful that I'm able to do this. Therapy is obviously a huge thing for me. Like I think therapy's pretty intense, because you don't go through something like this and not have therapy, as well as in general therapy is good. I think I'm a big therapy
Good
advocate.
for everyone.
Yeah, I'm a big
You're
therapy
my
advocate.
therapist most of the time.
I love therapy. Also, this was a huge one for me, was open communication with my close friends and family. So like my mom, my sister, you, and my best friend.
Tell me every time you're sad.
Yeah,
Crying.
I am.
Every time I see a missed call from you or FaceTime, I'm like, what's this bitch crying out today?
I'll like call you and I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm doing enough in life.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You quit your job so you could do more. You're doing the most.
I know. I like, my days are packed. I'm like, I just think I could do more.
I get calls like this from you and I'm like, I haven't even washed my hair in 5 days.
Right.
And this bitch is like, I'm not doing enough. And I'm like,
I've recorded 1 episode,
it's
2
been a month
YouTube
since
videos.
I've done laundry and like,
I'm like on it. I don't know. I think we all have our own issues and stuff, but yeah, I'll call you. I will call you all the time, even when, especially when I feel like bad about my body, and you're like the number one.
yeah, it's
person.
just like,
My mom's like, get the fuck over it. You're beautiful, like you're strong.
you're beautiful, I love you.
Yeah.
And that's like the only time I've ever actually
Like nice. It's crazy.
I know I seem like such a fucking bitch. I am.
She is.
But
We love
I'm
it.
mainly joking.
Mhm.
There are people though to where I'm like, you know, like how I am with you, like
Yeah.
you're such a bitch. Like I act that way towards them and they think I'm joking with you, honey.
I'm not
I
kidding.
do think you're a fucking whore.
Right. You're like the one person I'm like, I actually know.
And they're
that
just like, you're so funny. I'm like, yeah.
you're like, haha.
Fucking whore.
You're like, haha, it's not a joke this time, bitch. Yeah. But just having a support system was a part of my therapy. So I have a really great support system. As well as I had to cut out people that weren't great for me, even people I didn't want to have to cut off for me. I had to, which, you know, I
just think that you're at a different point or different goals in your life when you, what the fuck?
Everyone has their own journey and what they want to do. I just refuse to post for people who obviously listen to me every week talk about my confidence and how, like, all those things. I'm not gonna face doing that shit. Why? Like, you know, not my vibe. I refuse to let that be my reality. Like, I feel like what we see is what we consume is what we believe. So I refuse to let that be my reality. No way.
Absolutely not.
Do you have any ending things we want to talk about? Questions? Comments?
I feel like if anyone needs help or just some extra support and wants to know where to start with living a healthier life or like accepting their body more, feel free to DM Libby or me.
Yeah, you guys already know you can DM me about anything. This is something, like, obviously I feel so passionately about. Like, I want everyone to feel the best, most confident versions of themselves. And I know how it feels to be in the position when you feel like you have nobody and you're so low and you're so dark and you don't know where to go or what to do or how to get out of that funk. That, like, I'm so there, I'm so ready to help. You know, I'm not a licensed therapist, but I sure as well should be. But, like, I would love to help because I know how much your help helped me. And, like, I would love to be able to provide that for other people. And I hope, like, this episode, if you're dealing with body image issues or you're dealing with, like, society's norms, quotation, on what to be, who to be, like, let it the fuck go and just be happy. Once you start focusing on your internal self and, like, you stop holding so much legit weight and what you look like, you become such a better person. And I wish I didn't have to go through the horrible eating disorder I had to go through to realize that. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. So I'm so happy that I get to share this with you guys. This was, like, actually a really difficult episode for me to record because this is, like, me saying goodbye to a huge chapter of my life. Like, I'm ready to close out on this. I'm ready to
obviously it will always, like, be with you.
Yeah.
You always have to
work through it.
you're always going to be in recovery.
Right, always. But
it's nice to, like, just say goodbye to
goodbye, yeah. I'm like, I'm ready to say
the bulimic bitch inside.
the bulimic bitch inside me. I'm like, I told her RIP a couple months ago, like 6 months ago. I tell her RIP again today, and every time she tries to come up in my brain.
Fuck off.
right, like literally thug out. I'm really done focusing on my past. I really want to move forward with my future. I feel like you're gonna definitely hear that with like the turn of how Midday Matcha is gonna go now. We got some big plans coming up on that that you still need to fucking help me with. Can edit that out, but I totally don't want to make a big turn. Anyways.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, so I want to end this episode by saying if anyone needs help or they just need somewhere to start or they want to talk about it, I'm all ears. I'm so willing to listen. Gadir, are you?
Yeah.
Gadir is too. And that we love every single one of you and that it's so possible for you guys to overcome this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to skip the Midday Matchas for this week, Midday Matcha must-haves for this week because we're it's so fucking long. But I love every single one of you guys. Gadir, where can they find you?
At Dear Banny Art on Instagram, or that's my art account. You can message me on there. My personal account's private, so
Yeah, keep it private then.
yeah.
And then you guys can follow me on Instagram at Livy Maeve. That's M-A-E-V-E as in Maeve, as well as Midday Matcha has an Instagram, midday_matcha. I'm slowly getting rid of that and fully going to Livy Maeve, just posting all my Midday Matcha content on Livy Maeve, as well as at a YouTube channel. It's Livy Bitch. I shouldn't have ate this cookie, but as I'm telling you guys this, I'm sorry. It's what it is. I love every single one of you. You're so much stronger and better than what society has made you feel like, and I think anybody can get through anything that they're going through. So we love you, right? They can't see you. So you shake a head. Yeah.
Oh,
well, you can say what makes you feel comfortable.
Thanks for having me as a guest. I know
You're
we've
welcome.
talked about this for a long time.
Right.
It's great to be best. She yelled at me in the beginning of talking too close to the
I get really stressed before
It really does.
I get really stressed.
But yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye. Wow. What if I just deleted the whole thing?
You get to
Oh my god, that was intense. Do you think it was good or bad?
I think it was great.
We have to say goodbye to the YouTube now too. YouTube!
Oh, I forgot about it.
Eat a fucking cookie today. Eat some french fries. Eat whatever makes you happy.
Love yourself. This is the light.
Love yourself.
Cannot wait to turn this light off.
Eat even if you don't want to eat dinner. Call me, we can eat dinner together.
Yeah.
Message me on Insta if you want to eat dinner with me. I'll sit and FaceTime you and we can eat together.
She'll do that, yeah.
I literally will. I love every single one of you. If you want more of me, follow me on Instagram at Livy Maeve. Gadir.
Oh, Dear Banyard.
Dear Manny Art, we love every single one of you. Have a beautiful day. Subscribe.
This is the longest fucking outro ever.
Woo!